Welcome to the 5th video in the 10 Reasons You Need Fusion series. Keying and matte control is obviously a huge part of compositing, and Fusion offers a whole range of internal keyers to solve even the most challenging problems. What's more, Primatt is now included free with Fusion, so you can use this keyer together with all the other great tools in your arsenal to help you get even better results. Let's start with a simple example so that you can see how some of the basic keyers perform.
I have some CG footage here of a mechanical spider, which you can see playing in the right-hand window. The first thing I want to do is add in this reflection underneath the main beauty pass. To do that, I can quickly connect it to a merge node, and once again the updated version appears in the right-hand window. Now if you look closely, there is clearly something wrong with the reflection. It seems to be back to front, which is often the case when you are dealing with elements on a job like this. So, no problem, I'll just select a transform tool like so, and flip the shot horizontally. That's now looking better already. The next thing is to knock it back a little and defocus it slightly. I've already added in a defocus tool, so I'll blur it a little more to show you the effect, and then go to the merge tool and mix it down a little. Once again, very straightforward. Of course, now I need to put the original beauty pass back over so that the reflection just appears on the ground. To do this, I have been given a matte run which looks like this, and I can combine it with the beauty pass using a matte tool. I'll select a matte tool from the toolbar at the top. Notice that I can just take another connection out of the original shot. I don't have to copy and paste or anything like that, and that of course is the beauty of node-based compositing. Combining that over the top and selecting Post Multiply, I now have my reflection all sorted, with the added option of being able to slightly blur the edge of the matte. At this stage, with the two windows active, I can see the effect of the blur on the matte itself as I adjust it, together with the final composite side by side. A quick look at the matte control in a little more detail on another example. I have a composite here of some CG planes over a sky background. Here you can see the background plate, the matte and master of the planes, and in the right-hand window, the final comp so far. What have also been added in are a few other elements. A lens flare here, which has been merged over the top using screen mode, plus a second flare, also merged over in exactly the same way. That's the result so far, but one of the beauties of working in Fusion is the ability to zoom in while you are playing back and have a closer look at some of the edges. Having done that, a black edge is clearly revealed around the cockpit area, which of course it would be nice to get rid of. Turning back to the matte control, I have a number of options that I can play with. Naturally, I can blur the edge, like so, and then either adjust the gamma, which can work quite well in certain circumstances, or I can contract and expand the matte like this, pulling in the edge a little and getting rid of the black line. Using Post Multiply as well will often get you a better result, and used in combination with everything else, you can be pretty certain that you will end up with a really convincing final shot. I've got a couple of simple examples here, a cup of coffee and some steam which we want coming out of the top of the cup. There's the steam in the left-hand window and the coffee cup in the right. A transform tool repositions the element and sizes it down, and the Luma key gives me the finished result in the right window. The Luma key has all sorts of controls to play with, but in particular, Post Multiply can make a huge quality difference in the final output. This might be a bit of a subtle difference when you're watching at this resolution, but trust me, it's a really nice feature for getting a good end result. A similar example here, this time using particle created snow. Again, Luma keyed over the background plate and instantly controlled using things like matte contrast, matte gamma and blur. Great result achieved very quickly. The final example proves that if you don't have too much to play with in terms of elements, you can double up and read time to get the most out of them. So here is our first bit of fire, which I have transformed and keyed over our background, followed by a copy of the original element. Of course, it looks like it has just been copied when you see the result, so a useful technique is to just trim the start point of the second version and effectively offset it in time. We can also see that the fire is going over the front of the arch, which is wrong since it's supposed to be behind it. A quick polyline mask solves that problem too. Now we add in some smoke in exactly the same way, again with another polyline mask. Some more fire at the front, again offset in time from the other two versions, and finally a flipped version of the original smoke plate. Probably the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of keying is blue and green screen. So this is a typical example of what you might be faced with, a blue screen with lots of detail in the fine hair of the actor. This is the background plate in the left-hand window, and the first thing I would normally do is remove the tracking markers using polyline masks. You've already seen this technique in an earlier video, so I won't go into it here. I have a choice of keyers to use in Fusion, and the first one we're going to look at is the Ultra keyer. Pretty straightforward. Load the default output into the right-hand window, select the color to key out from in the left-hand window, and then use background correction to get it roughly to where you want it to be. It's also quite useful at this stage to look at the alpha channel on the Ultra keyer to see where it's leaking or just evaluate the edge detail. This is already looking pretty good, and one of the advantages again in Fusion is the ability to zoom into the shot while it's playing back for an even closer look. At this stage there are all sorts of tools I can use like fringe gamma and fringe size to help me even further. I'm going to concentrate on adding a bit of red and yellow to the edge of the shot and increase the fringe size to finally adjust the effect. So, not bad after only 30 seconds or so. The second keyer is Primat 5, which is included free in Fusion these days. A fantastic keyer, which if I select the key color this time, pretty much gives me a one-shot result. Powerful spill suppression and huge color correction choice gives an unbeatable combination for getting the best result possible. A bit more tweaking and it will be a perfect composite every time. One final point about keying, having just seen the Ultra keyer and Primat tools in action, is that you can take it even further by creating light wraps to really finish the shot off. This is quite a common technique used particularly in film VFX work, but it's equally valid with any kind of keying challenge. Without going into too much detail, the original matte generated from the main keyer, in this case the Ultra keyer, is used in conjunction with a filter tool to make an outline matte. This is then blurred slightly along with the original comp, and the resulting matte and master used to blend just the edge of the composite, giving an even more convincing result. Of course, the whole flow is constructed from just core tools, which shows the enormous possibility of what can be done in Fusion. Equally useful is the fact that the comp can be used over and over again in different jobs by just replacing the various loaders. As you use Fusion more and more, you will discover new and exciting ways of doing things like this and build your own library of techniques that can be recalled at a moment's notice.
Hopefully you'll agree from what I've just shown you that Fusion has everything you need to get the perfect key. You've seen the great LumaKey capabilities for quick and easy compositing of practical effects like rain, fire and mist, and you've also seen how powerful the Ultra keyer is for blue and green screen material. Finally, there is Primat, now free with Fusion for even better keys. That's it for this video. In the next video, we'll be going through paint and tracking. Meanwhile, don't forget to take a closer look at our website at www.ionline.com, plus the Ion YouTube channel where you can find a whole host of news, events and information that will show you why Ion Software is a world leader in compositing.